Joining me right now, former NATO allied Supreme Commander General Wesley Clark. General Clark, good to have you here. Obviously, some stuff going on, shall we say, right now. What's your recommendation here? Can we actually go in and take out North Korea's nuclear arsenal?
We probably could go in with massive force and we can destroy the whole country. But to do that, remember, you're dealing with a country that's had 60 or 70 years to put stuff underground in tunnels. So you're probably talking about, if you really want to get it, you want to be sure you get it, you're probably going to use nuclear weapons to get it. If you send in a few teams of special forces, you may get some of it, you won't get all of it. And to do that, you've got to disable their air defense network, shut down their security and so forth. So you alert them. The idea that you can really do a massive strike without somebody saying something totally surprised, catch China off guard, is unlikely. Seems likely that China would alert North Korea. So because they don't want to see the United States take out North Korea and then move all the way to the border with China. So lots of different motives in the region. The best course of action for us right now, Trish, is talk directly to the leader in North Korea, face to face. No bellicose public statements. Don't get the public alarm. Go see him personally and say, don't be doing this.
Well,
you're bringing yourself to destruction. Because
are you criticizing what has been said? I mean, when you say don't be making these public statements, just curious, because it seems to me you want to get some kind of message through. And right now, since you're not meeting with him, you need to let him know how serious this is.
The best way to get the message through is to meet with him personally. And there are ways to do that. And that can be done. It was done in 1994. Jimmy Carter was sent over there.
That didn't work out so well, General.
I was working in the White House sit room. Actually, it did work out well because we didn't go to war with North Korea. And I think when you look at the consequences of war,
where we are.
This is tougher than Iraq. Much tougher, because it means
they have the ability to hurt
thousands civilian. They have ability to hurt Japan and South Korea and wreck major parts of Asia's economy. And the likely consequence of the United States going to war with South Korea, or sorry, with North Korea, is that Asia would be in turmoil, and who would come out as the real victor in that? Probably China would emerge as much stronger in the aftermath.
You bring up China, and that's an important sort of elephant in the room, if you would. Everybody's all excited about these billion-dollar sanctions. I keep making the point that you're talking about a $28 billion, roughly estimated economy, so $1 billion isn't going to be that big a hit. And that's assuming China's actually going to follow through, General, on those sanctions. And I think that's a big if, and probably unlikely. Why aren't we going after China way harder? Why aren't we sticking it to them and saying, guys, you got to get North Korea in line, and you're the answer to that. We can only do what we can do. Why not threaten China with more sanctions?
Well, I think we are behind the scenes putting a lot of pressure on China, and I think we should do even more, because China does have some influence, although this leader, Kim Jong Un, has done his best to eliminate any Chinese agents of influence in the government. He had his uncle killed. He got his brother killed. He purged his military a couple of times to get rid of the Chinese agents and so forth that might be in uniform in his high command. So he knows he knows about personal security. This is a guy who is absolutely determined to stay in power. He's ruthless, but China could put more pressure on him. Here's the only thing I'd say, Trish. Got to be careful on the sanctions in this regard. His highest regime priority is regime survival. And he needs those nuclear weapons and missiles. He will sacrifice anything and anybody to keep them at this point.
So in other words, if you any dollar he has is going to go to nuclear weapons, and he'll starve the people.
Absolutely. Cut hospitals, cut schools, starve them, keep those nuclear weapons.
He is supporting a lifestyle for himself. He had a liquor bill totaled at $30 million for his friends, among other things. So you could choke him financially to a certain extent in terms of his infrastructure around him. But I hear what you're saying, that ultimately he'll take whatever money he has, including from his own people, and let them starve before he's out of business as far as those nukes go.
Yep. So when a guy starts shooting members of his own family, you know this is a guy who is serious about wanting to stay in power.
So the question is, where's it head?
Well, I think what you're going to see is continued determination, strong, resolute rhetoric from the United States. I think you're going to see behind the scenes a lot of military scrambling to figure out, okay, do we or do we not shoot down the missiles? Is there a way of knowing where they're going to be launched from? Should we consider
Well, of course we should shoot down those missiles, General.
Well, I think we could shoot them down, but do we? And if we're going to shoot down the missiles, then maybe we want to take them out before they're launched. And then behind this, in addition to all the military stuff, there's going to be a frenzy of diplomatic activity, and somebody is going to have to go in and speak directly to the president of North Korea.